Hey, what's going on, guys? So by now many of you have seen my last video about why I'm done with Destiny 2, and in that video I talked about a lot of differences between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, to try and explain why I think Destiny 2 is so disappointing, as well as stated that I'm done playing and spending money on the game. I will continue to make videos on it as I love the universe of Destiny, but for right now I'm boycotting the game. One huge part I left out in my last video is the ever-growing Eververse controversy. I'm sure most of you know what Eververse is in Destiny 2, but on the off chance you don't know what it is, well, it's basically Bungie's and Activision's form of microtransactions and loot crates. Whenever you level up, you earn bright engrams from Eververse, where you then can be given random loot out of an ever-growing pile of rewards. Now, when I first started playing Destiny 2, I never imagined that this whole ordeal would blow up like it has. Recently, it's been the most trending news topic for Destiny, as well as one of the most trending topics in gaming. This is in large part due to several XP scandals that Bungie tried to implement behind players' backs, as well as the anger and uproar over how a lot of the cool and unique loot from the Curse of Osiris DLC, as well as the Dawning event, are mostly Eververse items, if not based on Eververse entirely. So it's easy to see why fans and players are so frustrated with the game, and why many are now demanding that Eververse get taken out of the game entirely. The only reason I don't think Eververse has reached Battlefront 2's levels of uproar is because Battlefront 2's loot boxes ruined the core feedback loop of the game by implementing the progression and power system with randomized drops, while in Destiny 2 all the items are cosmetic based. But Eververse is beginning to have as many items as the rest of the game's normal loot pool, meaning it's less fun to get drops and there's less loot to acquire from those drops. To me, and I'm sure many others out there, even though this stuff is cosmetic, it has an impact on how it feels to play Destiny 2, and not for the better. Okay, now for the main focus of this video is to talk about how Bungie could at least fix this controversial issue, while also adding more to the base game for players to do. The first category of items that are earned through Eververse is ships. Now, ships may be just used for loading screens, but still fans and players like to have their Guardian equipped with cool and unique ships to show off to their friends and fellow Guardians. In the recent Curse of Osiris DLC, there's a really unique looking exotic ship called the Saint 14's Grey Pigeon. Sadly, this ship is just one of many that is not earned in the game, but rather obtained through Eververse's random RNG system. The Saint 14 secret quest line was actually one of the highlights of the new DLC, so having the ship tied to Eververse and not the quest is an idiotic move in my mind. Unique ships like this should be tied into story content and unlocked accordingly. Examples of this could be obtaining Osiris' ship by beating the Curse of Osiris DLC, and Ikora's ship could be obtained from completing her meditations. Then as for the rest of the legendary ships that exist in Eververse, they could be taken out and sold by Amanda Holiday for legendary shards, as well as sprinkle some ships into the normal loot pool every now and then. After ships comes the other vehicles in Destiny, although these play a much larger role in the game: sparrows. Many sparrows should also be implemented into the normal loot pool, as occasional drops. As for me, the only way I've gotten exotic sparrows so far, before I stopped playing, was through Eververse. But I think it'd be an even better idea if the SRL activity from Destiny 1 returned to Destiny 2 as a permanent mode. That way players could race and complete challenges to acquire legendary and exotic sparrows as rewards. And then also maybe have a couple of other exotic sparrows have their own unique story missions and side quests that would need to be completed to unlock them, similar to the exotic quest for guns. This would add a great small addition of content for players to grind out and play. Now moving into items that can grant perks such as XP boost, Ghost Shells. Ghost Shells should be rewards from planets they provide bonuses for. Bungie could literally stick these in chests or lost sectors as rewards for players who like to explore every nook and cranny of the maps. If a player was to complete a lost sector in the EDZ, they could then be rewarded with a Ghost Shell for resource finding and etc. in that zone. Exotic ghosts could also be a very rare drop or be tied to quests, like we recently saw with Sagira's shell at the end of the Prophecy Weapons quest. That was a good start to adding in valuable quests with decent incentives. Okay, now here comes a big part of the Eververse items that has to change: armor sets. This one is a slap in the face to the fans, since as of now, between the Curse of Osiris DLC and the Dawning, 2 of the 4 new armor sets that have been added into Destiny 2 since launch are Eververse exclusive. The way I think this should be fixed is for one of the Osiris armor sets to drop randomly from completing strikes, adventures, public events, and etc. Basically just by luck and by playing the game, and then have the other drop in the Crucible randomly. This would give players 2 new armor sets to hunt for in the expansion, and encourage players to play both PvE and PvP activities. Now for the Dawning, tie the core of the event into the armor itself. Play mayhem matches and run snowball strikes, not for a once per week chance to assemble the armor set, but for the actual armor set. Then Bungie could also set milestones and goals that the player can track and try to complete to award individual pieces of the armor set. And by the end of the event, as long as you put in a good amount of effort towards the armor, you should have unlocked the entire set. This is how you make armor mean something, so other players know what you've accomplished and how you got your Guardian to look that way. Next up is the weapon and armor ornaments. This to me is still one of the dumbest initial decisions Bungie ever made, and one of the most aggravating features that still exists in the game. I feel like the way to fix ornaments in the Eververse system is the most obvious one yet. Just make the weapon ornament obtainable through doing a specific or certain task for that weapon. For example, X amount of kills on one gun gets you the gun's ornament, so it essentially becomes like a quest. Kill X amount of Cabal while jumping, unlock the ornament for the gun. For armor, there could also be specific challenges based on the gear. For instance, the Hallowfire Heart could also require solo ability kills. There's a lot of potential here for some tough challenges as well as some good fun to be had, and instead it's all being based around Bright Dust and the luck of the draw. Bungie could literally add in dozens of hours of tough and fun grinding activities to unlock all the game's coolest looking weapon and armor ornaments. The next category of item drops from Eververse is shaders. I still think Destiny 2 should go back to Destiny 1's form of shaders, so that we can actually collect all the shaders in the game and use them as often as we want. But for the sake of argument, if the shader system in Destiny 2 was similar to that of Destiny 1, then they can have legendary shaders appear as random drops for certain activities. Now for the Transmat effects and mods, these should also be drops, or just have a man to sell these for legendary shards. Okay, now that we've gone through almost every type of item in the Bright Engrams, and discussed how to take them out and make them fun to acquire through gameplay, we come to the one item I think should stay in Bright Engrams: the emotes. This would allow Tess to continue selling dances to Guardians, just like she used to in Destiny 1. If Bungie and Activision want microtransactions to stay in the game, here's their solution. I don't think most people will care too much about emotes being RNG based. This could also serve as a nice small compromise between Bungie and us the players. Okay, well there you have it. As you can see, putting a lot of these items in the regular loot pool, as well as making them obtainable through fun and challenging quests and story missions, would allow us the players to have dozens of hours of new objectives to do that have both meaning and incentives. And this would also allow Bungie to give players valuable rewards and encourage them to try new parts of the game, as well as put this issue behind us and allow Bungie to start proving to the community that they care about us and want us to continue playing and enjoying their game. Sooner or later, Bungie needs to put players above revenue, because at the rate they're going now, there won't be anyone left to buy these Bright Engrams. The players need to see action from Bungie, not just tweets and blogs of what they might do, but actual visual change. But what do you guys think? What will Bungie do to the Eververse? Do you think my suggestions could work as well? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, be sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you all on the next Shepard Gaming video. Keyless Ally.